I live the crypto lifestyle, meaning I earn all of my income with crypto. I have all of my money in crypto. And as such, it is a very important moment for me to tell you a few things about what has recently developed. And it is just very essential for all those of you who want to leverage crypto to the fullest. As Bitcoin currently, I looking at my watch because I have the price of Bitcoin on my watch, is around $117,000. And I believe that we are not done yet with this bull run. Every day we have news that reinforces the important role of crypto in the financial ecosystem. Really, there is no stopping it now. Every day we have news coming out. Just yesterday, I saw that PayPal, which is basically the largest payment provider in the world, is now accepting Bitcoin. So there is no stopping it. And a lot of people are still waiting and hesitating. And hopefully, you are not among those, because if you are waiting for your Main Street financial advisor to tell you it is okay to buy Bitcoin, then it is too late. Speaking of advisor, I have good news for you. I am currently studying very hard to become a licensed advisor here in the state of Texas. It is still going to take a little bit, but I am on track. Now, one thing that I learned reviewing the rules around stocks is that when the company that has issued the stock decides that there need to be more stocks out there for everyone to purchase. That could have several reasons, but most often the reason for it is that they find that one stock is too expensive to attract buyers and they want the value of one stock to be lower. So they make a stock forward split, which means they issue more stocks. But of course, as I just told you, since they want the value of the stock to be lower, the nominal value of each stock is actually going to be reduced, which is very important to keep the real value, right? So when that happens, you get more stocks, right? You cannot just make a stock split and not give you more stocks, which is called a preemptive right. You always have the right to have the same proportional ownership of the company. And this is something that doesn't happen with your dollars, because whenever the Fed decides to print more money, do you get more money? No. They give the money to those who can afford to take on more debt. And that is typically not the everyday person, the middle class person, right? However, by printing more money, what happens to your dollar is that the buying power of the dollar decreases, which is a big problem. That is what we call inflation. Luckily, there is a solution for this, and that solution is called Bitcoin. Because Bitcoin, as I just mentioned in the start of, is de facto now accepted as a reserve, a digital reserve asset for the financial system. And therefore, it is a protection against inflation. Yes, the price of Bitcoin fluctuates, but in the long run, it actually keeps increasing and therefore protecting you from inflation. Historically, Bitcoin has increased by 115% yearly, and we expect the increase on average to continue about 25% annual increase. That is very powerful because it means that this digital asset could reach $1 million worth per one Bitcoin by the end of 2028. It is important for you to understand, though, that in order to buy a Bitcoin, you don't need to have the money to buy an entire Bitcoin. You can just buy a fraction of a Bitcoin. If you are new to the world of crypto, I do have an introduction that is free for you to consume. You just have to go to the website crypto.lifestyle, and then you can get all of that information for free. I'll make sure that there's a link somewhere around the video. At the same time, I also want to show you what it means when I say I actively create my income in crypto. I actually take my monetary power and put it into crypto, but then I work with it. I don't just let it sit in my wallet, referred to as hodling. I work with it, and I am about to show to you what is possible. So here you can see that I'm making about 450% annually on this position, which turns out to be about $100 for me daily in this platform. And then here you see I'm making 365%, turns out to make about $226 daily for me. Now, giving you these numbers, you can easily understand that I'm a huge fan of being a decentralized finance participant, because these yields are only available to people who understand how to leverage DeFi. DeFi is actually at the heart of what crypto was really designed for, which is self custody. Self custody refers to you truly being the owner of your crypto. We currently have a very tricky movement in that the powers that be do want us to embrace crypto, but they have a little bit of a problem with that self custody, because if a lot of people really embrace self custody, then they are not the owners and custodians of our assets. So, what they're trying to make us do is they want to trick us into keeping our crypto on the centralized exchanges, which are custodial services. In other words, you don't really own your crypto. You open your app and you see the crypto, but you don't own it. And if you don't own it, you cannot make it work to the extent that I make it work. Yes, they give you a few crumlets, right? 10, 15% annually, but you just have seen that a lot more is possible. So I really want you to embrace self-custody, and I want you to embrace decentralized finance. If this is something that you understand is important for financial sovereignty and you want to learn, you know what to do, go to crypto.lifestyle, sign up for my mailing list. You will get an immediate free video sequence of how to get started. But you will also be informed about my upcoming educational classes, so that you can really embrace this and, quite frankly, change your life forever.